Hello, Elvira, you are here.
Hello.
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 Hello. Okay. He's getting ready. Okay. Fine. So, dear friends, now today again we are for this second Zoom session. So today's guest is Elvira Maratova. She is from Kyrgyzstan, and she has been heading a program of International Land Coalition. This program is ecosystem restoration. So she has been very active in this part of Central Asia, where she has been closely working with the pastoralist communities in Kyrgyzstan and other countries of Central Asia. So today,
Hi, everyone. While we're waiting for other participants, I'd like to ask if you can see and hear me clearly.
okay, Elvira, I'm introducing you. You hear me or not? Elvira, you hear me or not?
Yeah, I do. And you?
Okay, okay. So I have introduced you already. You were not on the table, okay? So yeah. So now I invite Elvira to share the screen if she has the PowerPoint presentation, or if otherwise, okay. The floor is yours, Elvira. You can begin, please.
Thank you very much. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Let me know if you can see it.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Click it full view on the bottom of the screen.
Uh-huh.
Yes, this one. Thank you.
Okay, let me check. One second. You do see my screen, right?
No, you unshared it. Please share it again.
One second. Yeah, it should be. Yeah, you can see it now.
Yes, it is visible. Please.
Okay, perfect. I will turn off my video just to make sure that the internet connection is quite good for you. So, first of all, I'm great to be here. I'm happy to be here to see all of you in this online lecture. So today my team is the theme of my presentation is community-based pasture management in Kyrgyzstan. It's in Central Asia, achievements, challenges, and trends. So I represent not only my country, but also I represent the International Land Coalition's Asian land platform on ecosystem restoration, which is hosted by Rural Development Fund based in Kyrgyzstan. So today I'm thrilled to present on a topic that's central to sustainable development and the livelihood of rural communities, community-based pasture management in Kyrgyzstan. In this presentation, we will explore how Kyrgyz communities manage their pastures, the progress they have made, the obstacles they face, and where we go from here. This story is about resilience, collaboration, and the balance between tradition and modern solutions. So let's begin. Here you can see my subtopics. So first of all, Kyrgyzstan, many of you might know, this is a country in a mountainous area where pastures cover over 9 million hectares. So these lands are essential for livestock grazing, which is a major part of the rural economy and culture. Today, we will discuss how communities have taken responsibility for managing these pastures, why this approach works here, and what challenges lie ahead. You will hear about these successes in using local knowledge, the impact of climate and policy, and the importance of working together for sustainable future. So achievements in community-based pasture management. One of the biggest achievements in Kyrgyzstan is the creation of called pasture user associations. This is like local groups of people that brings herders and community members together to manage pasture collectively. So these pasture users associations have introduced sustainable grazing practices, reduced overgrazing, and improved the health of the land. For example, by rotating grazing areas, they allow vegetation to recover naturally. This association also empower these communities by giving them the feeling of ownership and documented ownership and decision-making power over pasture use and management and planning of grazing and other types of using of these pastures. So this has strengthened social bond and improved economic resilience in rural areas. So if we are talking about the economic and social benefits of pasture management, this approach of community-based pasture management provides significant economic and social benefits to the local population. Pastures support livestock production, which is main source of income for many rural families. By managing these lands wisely, communities can increase productivity and ensure long-term economic stability. Socially, these pasture user associations help reduce conflicts over pasture use. When everyone follows agreed upon rules, like a framework of this community, there is less competition and more cooperation. And these efforts also help preserve cultural traditions which are tied to pastoralism, such as national festivals, songs, and crafts that celebrate life in the mountain. In addition, of course, there is an ecological impact of community management. From an ecological perspective, community-based management has been a game changer in our country. By avoiding overgrazing, pasture user associations protect their soil health, prevent erosion, and maintain biodiversity. These pastures also serve as habitats for wildlife and provide ecosystem services like water regulation and carbon storage. So additionally, this let's say indigenous and traditional knowledge plays a big role here. Herders have deep insights into grazing patterns, plant cycles and weather conditions. So combining this traditional wisdom with modern conservation methods has made pasture management more effective and adaptive to challenges like climate change. But of course, we have some challenges in community-based pasture management, which are, despite these successes, challenges remain in any community on the local level and on the national level. One major issue is the climate change, of course. Unpredictable weather like longer droughts or harsher winters make it harder for herders to plan grazing cycles. Another challenge is the lack of financial resources. Of course, the communities often struggle to afford the tools, trainings, or infrastructure needed for better management. So finally, policies and laws, while helpful, are not always implemented consistently. Sometimes external pressures like urban expansion or mining also threaten pasture lands. Addressing these challenges will require stronger support from the government and external partners like international organizations or non-governmental organizations or civil society organizations or any networks that are involving the communities in these challenges. So we have also several trends in community-based management. Looking ahead, we see some exciting trends. First, there is growing interest in using technology in supporting pasture management. For example, lately we can see many examples of using drones and satellite data that help communities monitor pasture health and plan grazing. Second, there is a shift toward more inclusive decision-making. Women and youth are being encouraged to take on the leadership roles in pasture users associations, bringing fresh perspectives and energy. Lastly, regional cooperation is becoming more common. Neighboring countries are sharing experiences and strategies to improve pasture management across Central Asia. We have several cases when these pastures are used by two neighboring countries on the border areas, where the pasture areas can cover the length of two countries. So these trends offer hope for even greater achievements in the future. If we are talking about policy and community collaboration, effective pasture management requires strong collaboration between communities and policymakers. In Kyrgyzstan, the pasture law provides a solid framework for sustainable use and conservation. However, communities need more support to implement these policies effectively. Stronger partnerships between local governments, pasture user association, and non-governmental organizations can help in this process. For instance, by offering training programs in the framework of different projects, or financial assistance through banking system, and technical tools and other. This collaboration can strengthen the capacity of communities to manage their pastures. So if we are talking about the cultural significance of pastures, pastures are not just economic or ecological resources in our country. They are also a cultural treasure. In Kyrgyzstan, they represent freedom, resilience, and deep connection to the land. Many cultural traditions are tied to pastoralism, from nomadic festivals to oral storytelling. Preserving these traditions is just as important as protecting the land itself. By balancing modern approaches with respect for cultural heritage, we can ensure that future generations inherit both healthy pastures and rich cultural identity. Moving forward together, in conclusion, Kyrgyzstan's experience with community-based pasture management shows how local leadership, traditional knowledge, and collective action can create positive changes. This still the case in our country, but there is, of course, still a lot of work to do, especially in addressing climate impacts and supporting communities with better tools and resources. But the achievements so far are inspiring in the region, and the trends we see today give us hope that a sustainable future will be provided by the next generations of pasture users in our country. So thank you very much for your attention, and I'm ready to answer your questions if any. So here I stop my presentation and turn on my video to answer your questions if you have any, or let's discuss this topic with you. Thank you very much.
Yes, please.
Oh, thank you so
Hi,
much.
Cynthia.
Hello, Elvira. Thank you so much for your presentation. It's wonderful to see your part of the world and what is happening there, and it is very encouraging. I'm curious about the use of drones. Could you just tell us a little bit more about how drones are used and how often are they being used?
Well, it started a few years ago by in the framework, I guess, of one project, which was aimed to monitor the remote pasture areas in the mountain parts of the country. So when herders cannot reach these areas, they applied to these drone tools to catch remote areas, and it was very successful. It was a small project, just capturing maybe 2 or 3 villages, and it was very successful. And now I don't say it's very common among the pasture users, but due to the expenses and high price of these services. But for now, we see this trend that drones are using for monitoring, for taking pictures of remote areas to evaluate the biodiversity, the coverage of the pastures, and to calculate and plan the grazing circles in several villages. And if there is like massive support in this way, financial support, I mean, from the maybe international or from the government, I don't rely on it for the next future. But for the international organization, if there will be some kind of support, I think this trend could be very helpful, at least to evaluate and plan. So this is the case in our country. But I know that there is more, different ways of using drones, and it could be considered as the tool in our country too.
Yeah,
in the
very
future.
interesting. Very interesting. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. By the way, how was the theoretical part of this course? How do you evaluate it? Maybe someone wants to share.
Good afternoon. I'm Ute Schneiderrath from Uganda. I think I really liked the presentation, and I also was reading the text was very interesting and informative. We are currently implementing the Participatory Rangeland Management Toolkit based on the ILRI handbook, and there's a Kenyan handbook as well I can share. with you if you're interested on the cross-border Kenyan-Ugandan border with pastoralists. And implementing these 4 legs of starting with strengthening traditional institutions on the management and having management plans and all that, which is, it was a bit short in the description, but I can understand, of course, there is not so much space to have it more in detail. I've not checked the links, if there's a link to the full tool, because I think this is something I really like in the participatory approach, to integrate pastoralists into the whole process and build capacity on the management, on understanding, and also empowering them in the way that communities accept their decision and listen to them, because that is a lot of erosion of authority, let's say. As in earlier times, here the traditional system was oft with elder or old men under the tree taking all decisions. And I think the more modern committees integrating also youth, integrating women, people with disability, or at least all participants or all members of the community. And I think that makes already a big difference. What I like much is these what you emphasized in that description is the local knowledge and traditional knowledge what people have. I think that is very important to integrate that also in weather patterns, in understanding changes of seasonal changes and all that. I have a bit of question. There was in one of the videos stated that since the independence of the country, the livestock numbers increased dramatically. How is this being addressed? I think seeing the grass is only very low, there's erosion, and I think this is, of course, not productive anymore and even in danger. How is that addressed? Or what are the measures in that direction? Is there something? Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Actually, this is the case in our country. After getting the independence of the country, many people worked in the livestock sector, and the amount of cattle increased really huge, and it was unsustainable management of the lands, like overgrazing and etc. But the main decision, it was done in 2009 when the law on pastures were adopted, and the main idea was that each village has the limited resources of the pastures. So the government tried to manage it by itself, but it was not successful for the first 10 years of the independence of the country. And then the idea came that at the village level, there is, of course, the leaders of the communities, which are usually the custodians of this traditional knowledge, and who are the elders and very respected people at the village level. So they united in this pasture community. So traditionally, we tend to listen to these people, and they made these decisions on the village level. So they limited people, livestock owners, to keep the number of cattle, or to try to keep the better conditions at the home, and plan the grazing and plan the quantity of this cattle, taking into account the grazing pasture rangeland limits for this village. And we faced some local authorities. They used different measures. They made people to pay for pasture use, and this price depends on the quantity of the cattle that is grazing in this limited area of pastures. So if the quantity is upper than in previous years, so the price is increasing like double or triple or something. So this was the tool to control this increase amount of cattle on the village level. Some other pasture user associations, they add to the payment for the pasture use, they also add the special local taxes for cattle. So for each cattle you own, you have to pay additional tax, and by this tool they of course control. But from my experience, I see that all these measures are working, but the most effective way is to put all your efforts in awareness raising on the climate challenges and on the biodiversity issues on the local level. So when you meet people, when you raise these issues, when you explain and arrange the discussions, why is it important, why we have to keep our pastures on this level, why we should plan our grazing, and why what is the effect of our overgrazing, and what are the cycles of this climate change, and how it affects our future generations, it makes much more effect on the people. So when people understand, they behave differently. So we see that different groups of pasture users made different decisions, and the results are different. So we have more than 450 pasture user associations in the country. So for each village, we have own pasture committee, and it decides itself. So we have different cases, and in my opinion, this awareness raising and discussions and involving people in decision making, especially the younger generation started from school, it's the most effective way from my experience. Hope I answer your question. Do we have any questions in the chat? Let me check.
No.
I
No?
have a question.
Okay.
Please speak out on the video. Yes.
Yes, my video is on. First of all, thank you, Elvira, for your great presentation. My name is Munene from Kilifi in Kenya, and I'm curious to know how young Kyrgyz, either nomads, herders, are adapting to modernization in the context of a lot of young people moving to the cities are moving away from traditional methods of earning income, including herding and farming. So you have these herds which cannot be taken care of because the older generation are getting older and dying off as such. So how are young Kyrgyz communities and individuals adapting to this new modernization challenges? Thank you.
Thank you for the question, Minen. Yeah, actually, this is the challenge, not only for you, it's also the case in our country. Yeah, many people are moving to the cities, moving abroad, moving to the neighboring countries, and we have this challenge. Yeah, and we face that the average age of the villagers are older than 60 years old, and we have a lot of challenges, but at the same time, I think that now there is a trend that young people are started to understand that if they are not supporting the village, they will not develop the cities. We all depend on the products like from the rural areas, and we cannot grow anything in the city. We cannot graze our cattle in the city, and people start understanding. Actually, the young generation, we have some initiatives in the country which promote the idea of like one village, one product idea, when you do not use chemicals and you keep this production very clean, ecological, and it became a trend. It's not the like everywhere, but we have several areas, especially we have Isikul, it's the lake in the mountain, and we have the region called the same. And around this lake, we have several areas, big areas where people restrict from using any chemicals, and they like taking care of these pastures like in the ecological way, using conservation efforts and different restoration efforts to keep it clean, to keep it green, and reuse it. So I think that it should become a trend, but the problem is it takes time. We have successful stories, of course. Personally, I know several young people who moved from, I don't know, from United States or from Europe back to the village, and they started their own business, like ecological cattle management and pasture and organic growing and etc. So this idea should become modern and should become trend. And I think that efforts putting in like supporting this way could help. I hope so, at least. Thank
Awesome.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Just one more question before I go.
Mhm.
As they're adapting to modernization, and we have I don't want to call them ex-migrants. So there are Kyrgyz who are returning to the country and going back to the traditions of herding. My question is, do they get to improve the type of pastoralism that they get to carry out in form of value additions, which is slightly different from the traditional value addition that is usually there from whatever many products that you have in Kyrgyzstan, for example. So then new adaptations and adoptions of technology to value addition by the pastoralists. Thank you.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I think that young generation could be even more effective using these new technologies, and they are more sustainable, let's say. They can use their knowledge, they can mix traditional knowledge and modern approach, they can use artificial intelligence, and it's kind of the area where we can grow. Just need to wait and support young generation. Thank you for your comment.
Thank you.
Elvira, is one
Okay.
question in the chat.
What kind of question? Let me check.
The last one.
I saw something related to support of alternative livelihood to reduce pressure from pasture rangeland. What are the ideas behind it, and what kind of jobs and skills are suitable for youth people facing different challenges of rural areas, and is the local economy absorbing these young people looking for new livelihood?
That is a bit related to the question before with modernization. I think one topic was mentioned to support alternative livelihoods for people in that rural areas, young people, but also in general. And I think the question is always in which direction does it go? And I think something were mentioned already. We have a bit here the problem that a lot of people, or let's say through population growth, it's not possible that each son or each young person in that community can start with their own herd or with some livestock. So there need to be alternative ways of income generation, gaining skills. For instance, one is tourism, somehow in the tourism sector. Maybe a question, is that introduced in your country? But we have a bit of a problem to skilling people young people in different modern jobs? Is it motorcycle mechanic, plumbing, or such things like that, tailoring, hairdressing, whatever is needed, that the economy is not in that rural areas, might not be able to absorb these people. Are there experience in the region in your country about what kind of alternative livelihoods are working, or what was chosen and what is working? Do you have experience in that direction? Thank you.
Thank you, Jutta, for the question. Yes, we have actually the legislation in our country allows to use pastures in different ways, not only for grazing, for cattle grazing and etc. It also, as I mentioned, in the mountain areas, especially in Narin region, for example, in Isikul region, it's the mountain regions of the country, and it could be used for tourism also. And lately, we see that quantity of the tourists coming to our country is increasing very intensively, and we see that it's not only tourism, but also young people are involved in the supporting activities of tourism. It's like handmade production and producing of traditional food and drinks and conducting different activities, traditional for tourists. So it's supplementing activities that could be the space for young generation to be involved at the same time at the village level, but like different income generation sources. So this is the case for our country too. Of course, young people are very creative and they are using different approaches for income generation, and we see that many people support their families to stay at the village, but at the same time to differentiate their incomes. We have many guest houses which provide tourists with very wide range of services. So all of them are involving young generation and keep them and attract them to the rural areas as well. So yes, thank you for the question.
Elvira, 2 questions are waiting for you in the chat box. And one hand is raised by Gulnara. Can you speak, Gulnara, on camera? But
Yes, sure.
If you can, please.
Hey, I just have a question concerning use of drones. I would like to know your personal opinion about do you think these drones can impact the wildlife?
Gulnara, please mute your mic. Sorry, your speaker is creating echo. Yes, please.
Сейчас 19 часов 37 минут. Чтобы прослушивать уведомления, разрешите доступ к ним. Для этого откройте уведомления на телефоне.
I think that there's any internet connection problem. Gulnara, we don't hear you, unfortunately.
Сейчас 19 часов 38 минут.
She has put on the translation, actually.
Maybe you could type your question in the chat and we can
Сейчас 19 часов 38 минут.
Yeah, it would be better. Meanwhile, I will check the questions. One is from Sam Luomo. I understand Kyrgyzstan is one of key players in the global mining industry, which a lot of mineral deposits. I would like to understand the current state of pasture lands amidst artisanal or large-scale mining activities. Mining is an issue for everybody, but I don't think that Kyrgyzstan is a key player in this, but we have a big, two actually big companies that working in our country and the pasture areas. They have special framework to work here, and they have the long-term agreement with the government. So these pasture areas are transferred to the mining. As far as I remember, for 49 years. And we have the cases when people living around these areas, the villages near these mining areas, they periodically they started these conflicts with the companies on the issues of using these pastures. But let's say it's kind of usually it's the political issue actually, and mining companies, they provide different support to the villages which are supposed to use these pasture areas for grazing but cannot due to the mining activities. So they provide alternative source of income for these villagers, and they support local authorities in their activities like repairing the roads or restoration efforts in the forest areas nearby, or I don't know, improving the access to the water and etc. So this is kind of agreement between the local authorities and these mining companies in our country. So we see it's only in two cases, I guess. And we have a lot of small mining companies which are working in the pasture areas, but they have to prolong the agreement every 3 years, as far as I know, to continue their work. And they have to pass the evaluation by the local authorities of their conservation or restoration efforts in this area. So this is the arrangement between the mining companies and local governments. I hope I answered the questions.
Elvira, here I want to say something. I think the mining you have explained is just a general description, but the mining phenomena is very serious. Artisanal mining is quite okay, but the industrial mining actually is always dangerous, particularly in context of the grasslands and the pasture ecosystems, rangeland ecosystems. So the mining is one of the threat actually. It is it is anti people and anti ecosystems. And the alternative livelihood which you are describing is just a lip service. It is basically a tactic of the industrialists and the capitalists, how to keep the resistance in the low tone or manage the resistance of the local people. So what they do actually, they provide the lollipop to the communities, that you please take this small benefit, you take this, they create the water, so drinking water source, they create the roads, they build some kind of the religious structures in the villages. So these are all the lollipops, because what the amount of the money and the amount of material they have been digging from these lands, that is very huge, and it is shared by the state and the politicians who are the corrupt actually. And this is basically not the corrupt like the country like Canada. Canada is the one of the most notorious in the mining. The mining mafia is existing in Canada globally, and it's ruling half of the world, I tell you. And even if you go like the Alberta and the Alberta particularly, where even the rivers are flowing red completely. So there are all documented cases where this mining mafia has been ruling. And it's not only one. You see the Australia, where the Indian company like Adani Group has been was thrown out from Australia, because Australia has been suffering from this mining, the mined pits and all that. They are open, and these mining industries actually sign all contracts, but they do not fulfill all that. Especially the eco restoration you are talking about. Eco restoration is a myth by the mining industries. I tell you, it's truth. You go on any mining site and you will not find any eco restoration, which has happened in real sense. It may be like just doing little, but nothing. If any natural ecosystem which is excavated cannot really recover in like maybe 200, 300 years. It cannot. So this is just a myth. I mean, when you are, this is the anti-ecosystem idea actually.
Yeah.
So we should not rather, support or cherish that these mining industries have been providing anything good.
Yeah, it's a pet peeve, I guess, for everybody, for any country. And the government.
Hello. Can anybody confirm? Hello.
About the access for the pastoralist communities outside the country cannot access the pastures. Pastures are divided between the villages in the country. We have 454 villages, which so pastures divided among them. So if you want to use the pastures in our country, you have to be a member of any of these pasture users association. Otherwise, you cannot get the permission. You have, it calls pasture ticket here, which allows you to use pasture with limited time frame, and you have to prolong it every year. We have to provide information about the cattle you own, and you have to be included in the list of pasture users, and you have to be a part of this pasture use and management plan of this community for the next year. So this is the rules that you have to follow to use pastures in our country. What is the composition of the pasture user union like, and what is the selection criteria? Isaac Lokwar. Sorry if I mispronounced the name. Thank you for the question. The composition of pasture user union is all members over 18 years old of this village who own cattle. So it doesn't depend on your gender, just on your age. If you are older than 18, so you automatically became the member, if you also own the cattle, the member of this pasture user union. And the leadership of this union is selected every 3 years. So the villagers, they have annual meetings where they evaluate the decisions made by the previous one, and they evaluate the results and overall the situation with pastures in the community. And then they can re-choose the person or offer someone else. Usually it consists of 2 or 3 people. One is elder one who is very respected in the village, who have more experience and etc., and 2 younger who can be involved in all these activities, arrange everything and control and be flexible and be mobile. So it usually it's 3 people who are in this committee, but the members are all villagers older than 18 years old. Gulnura, do you think the usage of drones can impact the wildlife? Nowadays, we see videos on internet where bears or snow leopards running away seeing drones. Thank you, Gulnura, for your question. Yes, of course. Using drones, it could be helpful. At the same time, it could be dangerous. Of course, it shouldn't be used by anyone. It should be the process should be planned and agreed with wildlife keepers. Actually, we have the wildlife guardians, which are working in remote areas, in the mountain areas, in the forests. So, of course, it should be agreed. It should not be chaotic, like whoever and whenever used. No, it should be planned. And of course, I think that wildlife, it is wildlife, so we have to keep them away from the domestic cattle, let's say. And in my personal opinion, it should be arranged by two sides, pasture users and wildlife keepers. So yes. Thank you for the question, by the way. Yeah, it's very, very important topic. What is the role of women and youth in sustainable pasture management and pastoralism in the face of climate change? Duncan Muiruri. Thank you for the question. I think that the role of women is very valuable. In fact, traditionally, in our culture, women are the main group of the community, part of the community who is responsible for the planning. I mean, we are nomadic people. Kyrgyz people are nomadic people, and traditional we moved from the place to place, depend on the grazing plan. So this process usually managed by women, led by women. So here the important part is the knowledge which were transferred from the older generation to the younger generation, and the main channel is women. They teach their children, they take care, they plan, they explain everything to younger generation, they connect generations. So the role of women is very important. And especially I want to share one case from my experience. On the remote pastures, we have groups, like women-led groups, which were created due to the fact that during the summer grazing period, families have to move from place to place, and families who have small children, they do not have access to the kindergartens, to the schools in the summer time. So they have to manage somehow how to take care of small children and how to, at the same time, take care of cattle and household and etc. So women united to the groups, and they like create some kind of pasture kindergartens. So they united and they share their time to take care of children, to teach them, to entertain them. So this kind of special communities led by women became not only the place where children could get access to the knowledge and I don't know, entertaining and etc. But at the same time, mothers who come to bring their children to this pasture kindergarten, so they came and spent some time there. So they have to somehow connect with each others. So at the result, it became the platform for knowledge sharing. And it was really unexpected, but it became a case, and it grows from the village to village. And we had the network of the remote pasture kindergartens. So this network became a very good platform to share the knowledge, especially the related to the pasture use, to the new legislation framework, etc. Anything related to the cattle, pasture, and grazing. So in this case, we have the woman's leading role in this process. Of course, if you are talking about the young generation in sustainable pasture management, as I already mentioned it, young generation is the future of pasture, sustainable pasture management in any country, and we rely on them, and we rely on their ownership feeling and on their modern knowledge and access to the different best practices gained from the global, let's say. We rely on them on using the modern techniques, technology, not standard creative approaches. So I think that the role of youth in sustainable pasture management is very important, and we have to face that the climate change challenges. It's a global challenge, but the solutions are on the local level, I think.
Elvira,
If we do not
Elvira, I request you to concise your answer because there are a long list of the questions.
Oh, really? Sorry,
Yes,
sorry.
yes, it is full. And now
Okay. I'm
you
trying.
please be concise for the answers.
Okay. What is the land tenure system in the mountain and rangeland areas, and has the impact on the management natural resources local communities? Well, land tenure system in our country, it's the private ownership for any land except the pastures and forests. So people cannot own them, but they can use according to the rules created by these pasture users associations. Has an impact on the management of the natural resources by local community. Yes, of course, it has impact. So you can sell and buy any lands except these two categories, pastures and forests. Pastures and forests are just planned by local communities and documented by the local authorities. And in these plans, we have all the rules that manage the whole process. Are there any lessons that can be learned from Kyrgyzstan experience with community-based pasture management that could be applied to other regions such as Sahel? Thank you for the question. I don't know the case with Sahel, but I'm sure that there is something from the Kyrgyzstan's experience that could be disseminated to other regions, especially with the same climate conditions. But the main idea of transferring the right of plan and manage of pastures to the local communities, I think this idea could be very effective in any country.
Elvira, can I add something to this answer
sure.
to this question? Because this question is quite interesting.
Sure. I would be glad.
Yes. So, friends, actually, Kyrgyzstan's experience of this pasture user associations is unique. And I think Mongolia is also doing quite well, and it's also very popular these days when IYRP has been declared. So Mongolia is leading, and that is leading because of its own experience of pasture users associations managing large-scale pastures in that country. So Kyrgyzstan, Mongolia are the leading in this region. Although the other countries are also trying, but they are not very successful. Basically, as you have been highlighting here, whether these models can be replicated in Sahel, In fact, the truth is that each country or the region has evolved in very historical contexts, a historical context of the natural resources management. So basically, it also depends on how the communities' behaviors are and how their colonial patterns of usage of the natural resources used to be. So all these aspects actually influence the future of the replication of such models. So these communities in Central Asia, particularly the Kyrgyzstan and Mongolia, they are quite soft people in general appearance, I'm saying. So whereas the people in other parts of the world, they are not so. So I think it is very objective that how these kind of the models could be replicated in other parts of the world. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the contribution. The next question is from Philip. Do the shepherds get support from government in terms of salaries, social security, and retirement fees when they get old, or they are left alone? Actually, they do not get support from government, but the fee which is collected from the pasture users, some part is dedicated to the salaries of this pasture committee. And according to our law legislation, the part of this salary is going to the insurance. I mean the pensions for these people when they get old. So not directly from the government, but it's the normal salary which is collected by the pasture users. When were these around 450 institutions formed? Yeah, these institutions were formed in 2009 when the law on pastures was adopted in the country. And this process takes 2 years to create and formulate and like document all these institutions on the village level. Oh, so many questions. When will yeah, I have answered this. Is there any challenge to do with local livestock wrestling, and how does this community mitigate this? I don't think that there is kind of challenge in our country. I don't know. Maybe I'm not familiar with. But I think that it's worth to mention that all decisions made by the pasture users associations are legit for this village, and it's supported by the local authorities. So everyone should follow these rules. But the best part is that these rules and these decisions are made by these villagers themselves on the annual meeting. So they discuss it and plan together, and it should be related to the current situation in this particular village. So I hope I answered. This was the last question. Thank you very much for all your questions. If somebody wants to ask personally, it's time for it. By the way, thank you very much for participation. We have 25 participants. It was really unexpected for me. Thank you very much for joining this meeting. Do we have anything else to be done at this part? Let me know.
Thank you, Elvira, for everything. I put a message into chat. Okay, I need to came out because I have a meeting in the university. Okay.
Okay. We have 4 new messages. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your amazing presentation.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Okay,
I was
thank you
so
much.
nervous. I'm glad that you got
Thank you. It was
information.
really great, very great. Thanks a lot, Elvira.
Thank you. Thank you very
Thanks.
much.
Great presentation and good input. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
So,
You're so kind.
is there any question left? I think I have to explain something on the platform. If all questions are complete now by now.
I think so. I don't know. I don't see any new questions. We should adapt this pools in East
Yes, please.
Africa.
Yes, please.
I ask about you. Yeah, where have you studied? Where have you reached such high level of expertise and your well-spoken English? Just if you would like to introduce a bit about your background, I would be happy to learn. Thank you.
Well, actually, I'm a ecologist, but I worked only on theoretical part till 2015. And then I joined this National Association of Pasture User Unions, which is the national network united in the beginning of the pasture reforms. And it started in 2009. I joined in 2015. And last 10 years, I'm involved in all these discussions, in conflicts on the local level, in all the changes in legislation. We are in front of all these processes. So my experience from there and my English is just from school. Nothing special, just my best teacher in the world. Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Really great to
Thank
learn.
you. Yeah, you have 4 messages, but I think that they are not questions. Yeah, just
they are just greetings for you, right?
yeah. So kind of you. Thank you very much, guys.
Elvira, thank you so much for your intervention, and it was really interesting, and everybody has praised. In fact, the best indicator is to assess is that how many questions you are receiving. So, the number of questions asked indicates that you are wonderful.
Thank you, guys.
So, dear friends, and I think I should explain in 5-10 minutes. There are few new things and few old things on this learning platform. So I want to do that if all of you are comfortable. Okay, just 5-7 minutes. Thank you. Let me share my screen, and my screen is now in front of you all. Okay, so here let us go into the forum first. So I'm sure that everybody is accessing this forum, which is in the category of pastoralism here, and the forum is this one, P001, Pastoralism, Pastures, Pastoralism and Rangeland Governance. Okay, so here all the comments and discussions are there, 85 posts you can see. So you all, many of you have been discussing in this and posting, and some people are replying and reflecting to the posts. Okay, so this is a good thing. So those who are not participating are requested to take part in this process. Okay, this is very interesting. Yeah, it is going well, but we think that some people are still not using this forum. Okay, so please do it. Please engage in this discussions. Why it is important? Because whosoever is writing here, for example, Sylvia has written this comment, so what we are doing, we are copying all these reflections and making a document and putting in this platform. I will show you where we are putting all these all these reflections. So so not only in the forum but also in the lessons, where the lessons are put. So on those pages, the other people can read your comments and your reflections. So please take part in this process. This is very interesting. Yes. There is one observation in this, that some friends have been using GPT, GPT chat GPT, and don't think that the people cannot understand it. These days, chat GPT is very much used, and majority of people can understand. So so I had already requested 2-3 days ago that please do not use the chat GPT just to show your knowledge or just to show your capability. So it is basically is always better if you reflect if you share your own experiences or your own knowledge, instead of subscribing from like some book or some other internet resource. So that will be better for everybody's benefit. So this is just a request, it's not a criticism. Okay, so for example, this one, I just wanted not to pinpoint, but I mean, such things, this may not be, I'm not claiming that this person has used GPT, but it appears like it's very systematic. It's very systematic. So this way, the GPT usually answers very systematically. This is just one request. Now come back to the course where we have been reading and doing exercises. So this is the course. So one information is that, sorry, let me go inside. Yeah, here, introduction. So on this page, we have included one Zoom session, please. This is for information for everybody, because most of the people have already noted the Zoom sessions. But if you see under 2.5, unit 2.5 here, sorry, you see here, this one, 2.5. So in the unit 2.5, we have added one lecture. So this is just additional one. So please incorporate this Zoom session also in your schedule and plans. Okay. The other thing I wanted to inform you, that on every page, like for example, unit 1. So number 1 is that we have put the recorded video here of the previous Zoom session. And similarly, today's Zoom session is also recorded, and it will be put where? Today is 1.4, right? This unit. So here, where we have announced Elvira session here. So we will insert this video here, so you can find it. And also on the introduction page. Second thing, when you scroll down onto the bottom, so we have added this file of your comments and your reflections in the forum, which I was describing before. So this Word file, compiled file, is here. So you can also see all consolidated record of your reflections here. So this is only one announcement. In the forum also, I started one new forum for discussing the special module. The special module actually is, yeah, this one. So this is special module we have added. It relates to the case study work. And you can read the guideline here. Okay, so it is here. And related to this, as I am I'm informing you that in this new forum, new topic is created here, P001 case study and project work. So I wanted to ask your one advice, right? Rather. So please give your suggestions. I have requested here. I'm not going to read it. So everything is written here. So please also visit this one, this new topic, case study, and please give your suggestions. Okay. Somebody has already given here. So please also give. So that we will include this in our special module. This one. Okay. That's it. Thank you. Okay, let us conclude this Zoom session. If anybody wants to say something, is still some comment or some idea or something to say, please come forward. Or otherwise we close it. So next Zoom session is, I think, is after, when is it? 23? I guess it's on 23.
Excuse?
Yes, in 23, Saturday.
I
Yeah.
think
Okay, please. Please.
I have a question to the quizzes. It seems that one time I filled it and internet was breaking and I sent it, and it seems it didn't reach you or the institute, and I got a failure, reply. Now I'm not able again to enter into that quiz to add something new. Is that then blocked when I have done it once, or what is the idea behind that? Thank you.
Okay, yes, many requests are received related to the quiz. Basically, some people have been doing it erroneously. Some people are, I don't know, doing some deliberately. Some people, we have observed that they do not write anything when they answer any question. So they leave it blank and then they finish it, click the finish button. So there is nothing written. So this is the case. And another case is someone was asking that he wanted to write something, but mistakenly he submitted because before completing it. So what to do? So these are different type of the questions are there, and some. I guess everybody is able to open the quiz button and able to submit it. That's clear. So if anyone is having a problem in opening the quiz, then we can resolve it. But answering wrongly or answering mistakenly or just leaving it blank and then submitting is an issue. Now, our procedure will be that if suppose there are the two questions in the quiz and you have answered one correctly, but you could not answer the other question. So each question is assigned with 30 marks. Total is 60 marks. So two questions, 60 marks. So each question is 30 marks. Okay. So suppose you have attempted and you have completed one question, but one you could not do mistakenly. So in that case, we are if your answer is okay, fairly okay, then we are just giving 30 marks. And because 50% is the minimum passing marks, so we are just passing you. So if you are passed in the quiz, then it's fine because nobody is going to give you the scorecard or nobody is going to. It's just like you have to. We want to understand that you have read something, some material. You are not simply reading and just passing passing through. So we want to ascertain that you have read something on the platform. So this purpose is this. Purpose is not to test you or the examine you, right? Or your knowledge. So you are already experienced people and you are already seasoned people. So we have no intention to treat you like a child, okay? And it is not a good idea. So the quiz, as long as you are passing the quiz, it is fine. Okay, maybe by tomorrow or day after tomorrow on Saturday, all the quiz completed by you all will be cleared and the notification will be received by you whether you passed or failed. In case you have failed, so what we will do, maybe the next week or mid of the next week, we will remove all the failed entries. If somebody has failed, we will remove it. And then you can redo. When we will remove the failed entries, then you can be able to redo. Before we remove that, you cannot redo. Okay. What other question, Christine, you want to ask?
Yeah, I wonder if the number of blank entries, blank quiz submissions you're getting is related to a setting in the platform. Because I found if I opened the quiz and then left without hitting submit, it counted that as an attempt.
So okay, don't worry for that. So
It's okay. I did submit written answers, so it's just saying it's waiting for someone to check it, which is fine. But that may be part of the large number of blanks is that if you look at it and then click away for whatever reason, don't have time to answer it at that moment or go to look something up to fact check your answer, then yeah, it will count that as an attempt even though the student doesn't hit submit.
Okay, so no problem. So it's just a learning for everybody, okay, for us too. If this is happening by mistake or by just an error, so no issue. So what we will do, I have already explained that we will remove all the failed items. And then, of course, later on when this first module will complete, maybe end of the next week, you will check whether your all quiz are done, passed or not. If not passed, then you can redo that. Go back and redo.
No, as Christine said, I definitely write something in it, but it seemed to be that it disappeared, or yeah, when I checked on it, there was nothing in, and I failed. But I definitely was writing something, so I'm a bit wondering. But thank you for that opportunity to redo it again. It's a time question, yeah, to go back again a week with all these work. I'm not sure if I'm able to manage that. And I have not saved what I have added. Now I start writing it in Word and save it, and then I integrate it in case it's not appearing, that I have at least a copy. That is maybe a recommendation for others to do it like that. Thank you.
Yes, actually we apologize because this platform which we have been customizing is not having an editing facility. Although in many other platforms, if you go in Coursera or edX, so there you will have the editing facility of your quizzes, okay? And their structure is also different. So ours structure is different. We have tried to, first of all, we have not given any multiple choice questions. So we wanted to have your very learned answer. Like if you have read something, then only you can answer. For example, one case study of the RDF, Rural Development Fund, Elvira's organization, where she's coming from. The very interesting case study we put on, and then we just installed one quiz on that case study. So that case study particularly needs a reading. Without reading, you cannot answer that quiz. It is sure. If you attempt, you will fail. So these are certain cases of our installing the quizzes. Okay, this way we have structured. So this, I mean, the system problem is that we really cannot edit, but we have discovered this option that we can remove the failed items, and then we will request you to redo. Moreover, this platform, as I explained to you in the first day, that we have bought it from America, and we are customizing it. Moreover, like we do not have any funding, we are not sponsored by any corporate, so we are doing it, learning it, and this is our first pilot. So maybe when the next course in March will begin, we will learn a lot, and then we will be able to improve it. So please cooperate, and if some irritation is happening, so please bear with us. Right? Thank you. Yes, somebody wants to say something. No.
Well, thank you for the explanation. I think, and now we understand better. And giving you feedback on challenges and hope that it can be figured out.
Yeah. Like yes.
Have a good afternoon.
Yeah. But if you are in contact of some other friends who are not able to access the lessons, because some people are asking, some are still not asking. So.
Yeah, one question I had, if there's still interest on enrolling in the course, that is now too late, or
it's not late. It's not late. Can enroll even. Yes.
Yeah.
It's not.
Okay, because I could share it in more of my networks.
Okay.
Which I've done a while ago, but I think maybe some people are still interested, and it's not too late to just jump in.
Not too late, as long as we close it, and we will close this course by like mid of January. So,
okay, thank you very much.
But there will not be like the interactive sessions as we are doing now. Okay, thank you, everybody. So it was wonderful. Clap again to Elvira for your very nice interventions and your nice support. Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much, guys. See you.
Thank you, Elvira.
And for the next one, all over the lecture, all over the instructors or the field practitioners, their profiles are on there on the lessons pages. So you can read their profiles and can also come into their contact directly. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.